Hey guys, welcome back to the N3P Performance Podcast. Just me here today, guys. Today we're talking a little bit about a topic that's been brought up to me by numerous clients now about what my thoughts are about strength versus capacity when we're talking about being competitive in CrossFit. So that's what we're going to talk about. Which is best? Someone asked me. What is better? Should I be stronger or should I have more capacity? And my honest answer, if you want to compete in the sport, is you need both. You don't, by any stretch of imagination, need to be the strongest person on the floor. We all know that the strongest person, the person who's probably winning the strength event, not in all cases, as we saw Matt Frazier in the clean event last year, win the clean event and then also, win. But by no stretch do you need to be the strongest person. You need to be strong enough, though. You need to be strong enough to be able to play. You need to be able to move the loads, handle the volume. You need to have all those kind of things built into your training. But largely, when you look at a CrossFit competition on a broad scale, let's say there's 6 or 7 events in a traditional competition. We're not talking about CrossFit Games right now. We're talking about, sanctionals. We're talking about local events. How many of these events are actually pure strength tests? And the answer is probably 1, maybe 2 at most, but most likely it's just 1. That's like a pure strength test. So over the course of a weekend, if you're a super strong athlete, but you lack capacity, maybe you lack the ability to recover between events, you're probably overall not going to have a great weekend. So capacity is my answer, is more important than pure strength if you want to be successful in CrossFit. That being said, you need to obviously meet the prerequisites of being just strong enough. Like if you want to be an elite individual male and, you can't snatch 225, it's not going to go well for you. Not even just in like a max snatch event, if that's what comes up. But, if there's a workout with, high volume snatches at, 155, 185, like you're going to have a hard time handling that barbell. So obviously there just needs to be that prerequisite of strength. And I always think about it's very old now. So some of you may not remember this when, Klokoff and Froning actually had a snatch off in Isabel, and Klokoff's snatch is over 400 pounds. I think Froning's best was 305 or 306. So I think they did 30 reps for time at 225. Froning won. So less than 100 pounds as a 1RM, but being able to move efficiently 225, he won that event. So that's what you're kind of looking for when you're trying to be competitive in the sport. Is I don't need to be the top for the 1RM. My 1 rep max does not need to be at the top level, but my capacity at submaximal needs to be at the top. You need to be able to recover between each rep, be efficient in the movement if we're cycling barbells. Being able to recover between different events is super important and key to be successful while competing. So that brings the question is, if I want to be, whatever level you want to be, if you're like, I want to be scaled, I want to compete at a sanctional, at a scaled level, intermediate level, RX, I want to do team, like how strong do you need to be? And that's going to come down to, each person. Like if you want to be an elite category and you're a male and your back squat's 315, like you need to be stronger, right? That's just not going to be strong enough. When you're just looking at structural balances and the numbers and where your other numbers are going to sit if you're at 315 as a back squat. Okay. So it's just, you need to go out, you need to compete, you need to see where you're at, you need to see what you're good at, what you're not good at. The best form of, testing yourself if you're trying to compete is by competing, right? Have a good coach, have a coach you trust. Have simulated weekends where you do treat it as a mock competition. You should know when you go into a comp, what your lifts are at. Like when I go into a comp, or when one of my clients go into a comp, they know what their max snatch is. Like they know what their max clean and jerk is. If the events are hopefully released ahead of time, they've probably practiced some of those. They have an idea of what they're going to hit, you know. So preparation comes into all of that as well. But getting back on point, strength versus capacity, as long as you're strong enough to play, my thought of it is having that capacity, and that can be, like I said, recovering between events, recovering between movements, having a capacity in a single movement where you need to be strong. We're not just talking about, 1RM snatch, 1RM clean and jerks, but it's like, how many chest to bars can you do in a workout and not fall apart? Can you handle 100 chest to bar pull-ups? Can you handle 100 handstand push-ups? Do you have the strength for that? So those are all kind of things that kind of fall into that category of strength versus capacity. It's like, great, you have a 150-pound weight to pull up, but what's your efficiency like at that movement? What's your capacity? Can you do sets of 20 unbroken, with a short rest, or are you just smoked and your technique is garbage, right? So it's not just like a simple of strength or capacity. When it applies more to just what's on the barbell, at the end of the day, what did you snatch? Is that your true strength, or, when do you get to do your best snatch? Do you get to do that fresh at a comp? Probably not. You're probably going to be tired. Maybe you have 30 ring muscle ups for time. What's your capacity like in a ring muscle up? What if you have to do that Sunday afternoon and you've already done 6 events? Like, what does that recovery look like for you? So capacity is king. Building that, everyone knows that pyramid where it's like aerobic is at the bottom, and weightlifting's on top of that, gymnastics on top of that, and it keeps kind of going up and up. So build that foundational base so you can recover. Again, we're talking about people who are looking to compete in the sport of CrossFit. Have that base, being able to build on that, which allows you to recover better, not even just in a comp, but between your training sessions, day to day, you'll feel better. You'll be able to, be more consistent with your numbers through your training if you have that capacity built. So yeah, my answer for that is got to be strong enough, but you don't have to be the strongest. You got to have the capacity, and you just got to put in the time and the work and the effort into building that capacity in all movements that are required. Some you're going to be good at right away. Some are going to take time. I know for myself, as an example, overhead movements for me, even from day one, have been super challenging, to say the least. I remember back in the 2011 sectionals, so this was before the Open even existed. 2010. We had a 3-rep max overhead squat, and I think my right arm was at a 90-degree angle, and I was squatting that bar. So it's been many, many years in training and lots of focus around my overhead positioning. And again, it's still not perfect, but compared to where I started, it is light years better than it was. So for me, that's my biggest goat. So anything that applies to then overhead, where I have to hold a weight over my head, I strict press 225, but my split jerk's only 305, right? So that doesn't really add up. So there's a lot of issues in there that I continue to work at, and all those things, and building better strength in that movement, better technique. Strength, be strong enough. Capacity needs to be there. Put in the work, have the capacity to be able to handle and support the strength. You're going to be successful in your competitions. Thanks for tuning in, guys.